Hello, my name is Jason Thomas, JasonThomas. I'm the Director of Development for Origis Energy. The purpose of my testimony tonight is to provide an overview of the proposed MD solar2 project. I've been asked to keep my remarks brief. Origis Energy is the solar development and operation company proposing the project. MD solar2 is the applicant seeking the waterway crossing and wetlands permit from the Maryland Department of Environment. Thank you. The slide shows an overview of the project. This board is also available in the alcove around the corner.
Hold that mic a little bit closer.
The Maryland solar2 project is a 32.5 megawatt alternating current photovoltaic solar facility. The project is approximately 249 acres within two parcels totaling 588 acres. The project address is 4850 Sugar Valley Place, LaPlaya, Maryland. The permit application is associated with impacts in three specific areas: a temporary bridge on Sugar Valley Place that crosses Ward's Run, one culvert installed for emergency access road, and timbering two different locations on a generation tie line to facilitate the interconnection to the power line in the southeast corner. Dane Bauer with H&D Services is here to explain the details of the permit application.
I'm Dane Bauer with H&D Solutions. My partner and I, Melissa Hall, we do the environmental assessments, do the submittals for permits and other approvals at the state and local level. When the client they didn't purchase the property, we got lease agreements here and identified the property. We oversaw a team of various consultants and engineering firms that did the evaluation. One of the things that I think is important to point out, that this project probably got more field reviews and evaluations and joint site visits with representatives from DNR and MDE and other consultants on the team to identify the site in terms of its constraints, whether or not there were soils that had to be avoided, or slopes, or wetlands, or streams. And it took months in order to identify all these constraints. Once the constraints were identified, it was given to the designers. They came up with the preliminary plan that you see before you. And the goal was to completely eliminate any impacts on wetlands. In this slide here, you can see there were only three areas as defined by Jason that were impacted. Out of 210 acres of project, there were only 6,000 square feet impacted. All of them were unavoidable. Up there where it says stream crossing, there is an existing culvert that has concrete over it that is used for access by the property owners who live there. It was not sufficient in size or structure in order to support construction equipment that would come in. So just downstream towards a run from the existing culvert, we have to put a temporary bridge. There's some impact to the stream buffers, and they're all temporary in nature. And there has to be a hydrogeologic analysis to make sure that we're not affecting the floodplain in any way. The impact that was calculated is about 1,320 square feet. Also, there is a culvert where it says stream disturbance on the left side bottom of the slide. In that area, there's an existing culvert which is not in good condition. It needs to be repaired and upgraded and expanded somewhat in size. The total square footage associated with that is 240 square feet. Very minimal, very small. Off to the right, you can see the dotted lines that run from the corner of our project down to a new substation. That's the interconnection. Overhead lines and guidance for clearing is by the National Electrical Safety Codes. And there's a 75-foot corridor. We have to clear the trees in those areas, but we're not clearing, we're not taking the roots out. We're only timbering them. So the root structure will stay in, so we're not disturbing the land itself. And there will be maintenance planned for that. We only touched on a few areas that were wetlands. It wasn't wetlands all underneath that corridor, only where the two dark spots are. And the total impact in that area was 4,550 square feet. So altogether, the unavoidable impacts were far less than an acre. I might point out that the setbacks that the applicant has proposed are beyond COMAR. COMAR requires a 25-foot setback. Every place on this property, the plan calls for a 35-foot setback. In addition to that, there are mitigation requirements associated with the Public Service Commission license that was issued. One of them is a 1-to-1 mitigation on any forest clearing. The client and applicant is proposing to exceed that requirement and exceed many other setback requirements. That's a general overview of what we applied for, and I think that's probably sufficient for the record, unless MDE thinks we may need more.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there a way to get the lights back up? Thank you. I will now ask any elected officials or their representatives who may be present if they would care to make a statement. Then I will begin to call on members of the general public to make a statement. When I call your name, if you would, please come forward to speak from this position.